skilling is not just for the sake of skilling, it is basically for enablement of a person. Most of these MSME, they are not looking the skilling initiative as a part of the investment. They sometimes look it as a part of expense.
How to teach the workers what to do, but how to teach the manager to manage, right? How to teach the owner to manage. You know, just to sort of take it to a more general sort of a level, clearly when we talk about India, India is obviously now the most populous nation and definitely the one which has got the lowest maximum amount of workforce, right, below 35 and all of that. Quantity is one thing, but quality is something totally different, right? And when I speak to MSMEs, the first thing that they say is, okay, paisa nahi milta hai. Number two, people are not available. Skills are a major problem, right? And I don't get the right kind of people who even knows how to do a welding, for instance. He may be an engineer, but he doesn't know how to do welding. How do you kind of tackle that from an MSME perspective?
Very interesting question, and I would like to in fact congratulate what Aditya has told about his company, how he is dealing with the skilling initiative, people motivation. And we must say that skilling is not just for the sake of skilling, it is basically for enablement of a person. And that has a very high relevance with respect to what kind of, I mean, I'm sure that everybody understands the Maslow's need of hierarchy, and the first first level is basically my physiological needs are taken care of or not. And most of the MSMEs I have seen, they try to address that one, and some of these MSME who are not trying to address that one, the attrition is going to be there, the culture is not going to be there, then they will definitely going to say people are not available, skill is not available. So the point number one, that we should not see skilling or the qualitative people development just part of skilling. It is more of a cultural building exercise that MSME has to do, because definitely they are not in a position to hire and fire. They are not in a position to hire very high paid resources, and even if somebody goes out of there, then that person takes out a lot of knowledge and experience of that company. So a lot of risks are associated with that one. So skilling should not be looked into just part of manpower development. It should be part also. It should be part of our sustenance plan. What is happening in India, specifically predominantly automotive sector, it has ramped up like anything for the last 7-8 years from 2016-17 onwards. And I would like to cite this India's largest four-wheeler manufacturing company, who has made it mandatory for their tier 1 and tier 2 company to implement some sort of skilling center. Without that skilling center, they are not going to deal with that one, because that bigger company has understood the improvement activities, what is with respect to productivity improvement and all kind of organic improvement, whatever they want to implement, has sometime is going to hit the ceiling sometime. And the next thing that is going to be crucial for Indian scenario is basically skilling. And government has been focusing a lot of initiative on that part. Of course, few of them were not so successful. Few are definitely going to be successful after learning the mistakes what they've done from the unsuccessful skilling initiative. So a lot of companies are in automobile industry, they are doing it. The challenges that I see, that company are not, most of these MSME, they are not looking the skilling initiative as a part of the investment. They sometimes look it as a part of expense. And that's where the whole philosophical concept of how you want to do development of your company is missing sometime. And skilling is, if you ask me that how I am dealing with skilling, yes, we are helping company to develop the best possible skilling practices, skilling metrics, enabling people, developing the cultural things, so that people would be able to learn something in that company, and as well as they are going to continue with that company, which are very, very important for MSMEs. The point what I am trying to make here is skilling is not difficult, it is easy, provided you have a very, very specific focus on what kind of skilling you are going to do. And skilling should not be looked into just like an initiative for or an HR initiative. It should be a completely management thing to be looked into. Beside automobile industry, it is also important, of course, because EV segment we talk about, the companies like the largest company Ola, which is doing that one, they are also focusing toward the skilling. Ether itself is going to focus a lot of thing into a skilling part, and almost all companies who are into say IC engine or EV segment or other product segment, they are focusing on the skilling very, very aggressively. And thanks to Government of India, because they are increasing the per day salary or the per day wages, Now they are companies are very cautious that we have to pay, so we need more skilled people to be part of our team. Absolutely. And attrition is also taken care of if you have a proper skilling. Just like he has told, complaints from some of these MSME owners that people are not aligned towards my vision, or they are not working hard, or they are doing 2 punch 1 lunch kind of activities. Why it is happening? We have to ask the question that why the person who is working, the laborer or the worker or the supervisor or the junior engineer, should think about you. The question is very important, that how you are listening to them, they are going to listen to you in that aspect. What kind of support you are providing, what kind of culture you are providing, what kind of career progression you are providing, that actually help the person to think that, I have a proper, safe, prosperous career in your company, so I will be able to work more, dedicate myself more towards development of the company. So this is basically win-win relationship. We should look into that skilling domain provides.
I think the key factor, the last part that you mentioned, is so important. I mean, we always say ek haath se taali nahi bajta, right? So if you really want to focus upon workers' productivity, and if you want to focus upon zero defect quality kind of things, obviously there is the other side of it also. How it's not just depend upon the worker's skill, it's also depending upon what is the manager's skill or the MSME owner's skill, right? Which is something which is rarely it gets talked about, right? People all say, how to teach the workers what to do, but how to teach the manager to manage, right? How to teach the owner to manage, right? One of the things that I keep getting worried about in many of the MSMEs that we finance too, is that they are very good at a particular scale, right? He is good for 5 crore, 6 crore turnover. The moment he crosses, let's say, a 10 crore turnover, his own skill sets become a liability, because he is not letting go. He doesn't want professionalization of the management. He says कि 40 साल से हम ये करते आए हैं, 41वें साल में भी यही करेंगे. So there is no urge on the owner himself to change, listen to people, adapt himself. So how will he manage a 100 crore business? Is that something that you get worried about?
This is almost case of 95% of MSME we work, that there is no second person to take care of the business. Second part is, it also has a very good positive correlation with the previous questions related to skilling. As I have told you, skilling should not be looked into just as a part of HR activity. It should be looked into that what kind of career progression you are giving a supervisor. I would like to cite an example of a mid-sized company. I think they were MSME in terms of the say categorization with respect to revenue. I have seen the people who have worked, passed out diploma engineering, became the plant head in that company and still continuing for 17 years in this MSME, automobile companies. So the success stories are there, but if you see the management role, their way of looking into the people career development was beautiful. I mean, they are a Chennai based company. They, just like Aditya has told, that you ask them to do the mistake in the control environment, appreciate the mistake, and again facilitate or say that you have to repeat the mistake or you have to do something. Keep on. The cycle has to go on rigorously every day with discipline and dedicated way. Then people have the confidence that even if I am doing mistake, I am going to be there, and they are ready for taking more responsibilities. When the management is going from 5 crores to say 50 crores, the people are ready to take care of this responsibility, because they have the confidence that okay, the company is thinking about me, and I have a better future in that company. But the apprehension of the senior management team, that if I teach them and they leave and all this thing, there is a very proper statement said by our story actually. The CFO is asking the COO that, sir, we are training people and they are leaving the company, getting better job. So we have lost good amount of money in the training part, skilling part. So shall we stop training? The CEO said that, do we want to continue with the same skilled people, or you want to leave? I mean, you want your people to leave after taking the training, which is better? Then the CFO understood that no, it is always good to train the people even if they leave the company. So that's the basic fundamental, that out of 100 people if you are training, or say 50 people, 10 people you are training, 20, 30, 50% people are leaving the company, but remaining 50% people are going to be the asset of the company, which is a very direct example of what Triton has done very well. Yeah.
So managerial skill building is also so much of is assuming big importance, and entrepreneurs should at some point in time, after having populated the company with some good quality people must learn how to let go.
Absolutely.
And take their hands off and not try to be a control freak, right? Which is what primarily you are saying.
Yeah.
So more I trust my people, more they will develop,
Yeah.
right? For trusting, I need to let go.
Yeah, many times, because just by the sake of experience of this founder MSME or the managing director or the owner of that MSME, having 30, 40, 50 years of experience into doing a similar business, sometimes the instruction flows from the top. And say, for example, we want to do a minor improvement in that segment, the management decides, or the managing director and the plant head decide something to be done, and they said the worker to do it. That actually doesn't work in favor of MSME. I would like to definitely suggest MSME that you take the suggestion from the MSME, but make sure that whatever suggestion they are giving, it is in line with your vision. You don't tell them the solution. In Japanese, they used to call it, do not give them the fish, teach them how the fish, but make sure that the fish he catches is according to your taste.